obviously I'd like to cast like a quarterfinal or semi-final at MSI. I'd like to cast a quarterfinal or semi-final at Worlds. That's the end goal. Here I'm doing up to the end of groups, which I'm really excited by, and it's the next step. But in the end, the final step has to be Worlds Finals. And if I don't make it, that's okay. I understand there were great casters around, but as long as I get to the point where I think I could get it, then I'll be happy.
Hello everyone, this is Darius from the Shotcaller, joined here by Medic once again. So we're here at Worlds, playing stage, and you're very happy to be here again. Obviously, you evolved quite a bit over the last year, and I wanted to talk with you about how it was for you to finally be able to cast the final and now being able to work at Worlds again. So overall, what are your thoughts on 2019 so far, and anything you still have in store for us?
What, for me as a caster?
Yeah.
I've really liked 2019. I put a lot of effort into becoming a better caster this year, to the detriment of general life and stuff like that sometimes. But I think I've progressed quite a lot. The people I talk to and who I respect their opinion, they've said I've progressed quite a lot. And obviously, it's a huge honor to get to cast LEC finals and then to cast at Worlds as well. So I'm glad things have paid off. I think I'll look at next year and see if I want to be as hardworking in terms of putting my professional life before everything else. But my hope is that I can continue to grow over the next few years.
What have been some of the points in particular that you were really looking at to improve for this year, and you hopefully succeeded, of course, doing that?
So I think the main thing that's always sort of hampered me a little bit was I get too excited by games. So it doesn't matter if it's a first blood or a final or like the Nexus exploding, I'd have the same level of hype, and that's something I've worked on a lot. Alongside that, synergy with co-casters is always really important. I mean, Medivedi came into its own in 2019, and we really developed that a lot and was very deliberate about making it good. And then thirdly, it's just about being consistent, right? I've stopped having casts where I am a 4 out of 10 and then a 10 out of 10 the next day, and I'm more like my average is a 7 or an 8, and on a good day I hit a 10. I think the LEC finals is probably the best cast I've ever done, and that would be a 10 for me. So
absolutely fantastic. Now, are you trying to tell me that there were people complaining about you being too happy about Great League of Legends?
But it's Great League of Legends, but there's also, oh my god, a first blood has happened, I can't believe it, it's changed the game. Like that it took me a while to realize why people didn't like me being excited, because I enjoy the game, I'm passionate, but I totally understand that complaint and I agree with it. So that's where the you can be too hyped thing comes in.
Right. So walk me through a bit about how 2018 went in that regard, because obviously you were told at one point that, hey, you're not going to be part of the World's Current and stuff like that, and that must be really difficult, I can imagine, because as a caster it must be a bit more difficult to like judge yourself properly. So how do you assess that, and how do you work on yourself in that regard?
So I think there's a couple of questions there. We'll start with how 2018 went. I think I was on a good trajectory coming into MSI of that year, and then I had a couple of really bad casts at MSI. One of them, there was a lot of Reddit threads about it where co-caster and I were talking about double tier Ezreal, and we'd never seen it. It had never been played into professionally, and a build had come onto Reddit the day before, being like, this is why double tier Ezreal works, but we flamed it. We were like, this is a really bad build, we don't understand, etc., etc. And that obviously, it wasn't the fact we didn't know about it was the way we dealt with it that kind of reduced my standing within the caster scene, and I understand that, and that's part of the consistency issue that I was talking about, right? You can be consistently good even if there's stuff you don't understand in the game. So I've forgotten the second part of your question.
So when you were told that you weren't a part of the crew, how do you like go back to the drawing board and go like, hey, this is what I need to improve? Because I think it's a lot more difficult to improve casting than like mechanics, for example.
I think improving casting is you learn how you improve. So for me, it's a lot of VOD review. It's talking to Trevor and Dracos, and I actually improve better when I'm looking towards a goal. So at the moment, I'm playing around with the idea of in off season trying to do fantasy casts. So it's if you imagine that Summoner's Rift is a war and there's a bunch of little battles on it, how would someone write about that if they're writing a fantasy novel? Can I then cast like that to have that extra passion and power behind it? Like instead of just a solar flare, you have like the might of the sun coming down on you. However, in short team fights, that's really tough because it's like you lose people and it's confusing. So that's how I improve. I find these like new goals for me to push towards. But like getting knocked out of 2018 Worlds contention and not doing any roadshows and stuff was really tough. And like I'll be honest about it, really hit me hard. I drank a lot and I cried a few times, right? Like when your whole goal for a year is to do a specific thing and you don't make it, sometimes it's okay to be a bit emotional about that and have a bit of a cry, right? But coming out of it, it helped me grow a lot. And talking to people I respect, like Trevor and Dracos, in terms of play-by-play, they helped me understand where I needed to change and where I needed to grow.
So now with the finals in Athens obviously being checked on that board and that being a fantastic experience all around, what is like the next goal you're looking at for 2020? Since you were mentioning how goals are important to go towards.
Yeah, I haven't really looked through my goals yet. I think part of it will be improving my personal life a little bit as well. I haven't really pushed towards socializing and doing things outside of casting this year. So part of my goals will be for that, but also, obviously, I'd like to cast like a quarterfinal or semi-final at MSI. I'd like to cast a quarterfinal or semi-final at Worlds. That's the end goal. Here, I'm doing up to the end of groups, which I'm really excited by, and it's the next step. But in the end, the final step has to be Worlds Finals. And if I don't make it, that's okay. I understand there were great casters around, but as long as I get to the point where I think I could get it, then I'll be happy.
So one last thing, we had Eacham joining in on the cast for Worlds. He's gotten a lot of praise so far, of course.
Bring him to LEC.
Bring him to LEC, probably to LCK, I have a feeling, but let's not talk about that for now. But as a caster, how important is it to make a first positive impression? Because I feel like that can be really crucial too. What's your thoughts on that?
I definitely can. Your first impression is vital, and you can see the different ways that casters have made first impressions. So you look at people like Ejim and Ender, who made relatively good first impressions. They have a lot less vitriolic talk about them on Reddit, but I also think you can overcome a bad first impression. Like, I made a few bad impressions when I came on. There were a lot of threads saying that you didn't like me, and that's just the way it goes. But
I liked you.
Not you specifically. Sorry, saying that the community at large didn't like me, and you can overcome that. So yes, a good first impression is important, but it's more about understanding what you value in your cast and who you take criticism from. Because if you take criticism from Reddit, you're going to change every week, and half of them are going to hate you and half of them are going to like you. Whereas if you talk to the people that you respect, then you're much more likely to grow as a caster.
Yeah, even Vedi has got a lot of like negative feedback.
Vedi's always been bad though, so I totally understand that. It's just I carry him, obviously.
Obviously, I mean Reddit is 100% right on everything in that regard. So anything you would like to say to the LEC fans out there?
Oh, am I allowed spoilers?
Sure.
Okay, so we're recording this day 3 of play-ins just after Splice have lost to DFM. So all I can say is hold on to hope. We still have G2 Fnatic and the Unicorns of Love representing Europe, so that's pretty exciting. And I do really hope the Splice get to as well. But thank you so much for watching, guys. It's been a pleasure, and obviously it's an honor to cast this from the LEC studio. And I just hope that we win Worlds this year.
And a hashtag for the people that watch until the end.
Hashtag Euphoria. We got to go back to the roots.
Gotta go back to the roots. Hashtag Euphoria. If you watch until the end, I very much appreciate your support and your dedication to watch the entire interview. Also, a huge thank you to all our patrons. This was Medic. Make sure to follow him on Twitter for more great memes and banter. And
all the memes.
All the memes. All the memes. See you guys then.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye. We'd especially like to thank Krzysztof Bujnowicz, Erich Althaus, Lucas Legal, Lazy Raven, and Adam Novosviat for your continuous and very special support, and of course all the people whose names you see scrolling past you right now. We have a lot of amazing projects, and of course Worlds 2019 in Europe coming up, so thank you so much for supporting us and enabling us to do our work. Thank you.